Hey guys, what's going on? How's everybody doing? Alright, let me get my stuff set up. Y'all know how I do it. Make sure everything is coming through on Patreon. There we go. Yeah. Very good, very good. Oh, messages. Ah, what a week it's been, right? We're going to talk about this new moon, full moon in Sagittarius. Full moon in Sagittarius, not new moon. I'm going to get our chart pulled up while we're waiting to see if anybody joins. AstroSeek. Today's current planets. Our full moon is happening on June 11th. It's just after midnight, too, on June 11th. So it's actually, what is that, Monday night? Tuesday night. And that's if you're in the Memphis, Chicago time zone. So it could be like June 10th before midnight if you're in certain places. Sagittarius. I used to not have a great relationship with my Sagittarius, the Sagittarius part of my chart. It's gotten a lot better, I have to say. What am I doing? There we go. Two, 4, 3. AM. There we go. My son uses a different keyboard than I do because, he's a gamer. Okay. All right, let me share this chart. So Sagittarius, if you've got a lot of stuff in Sagittarius, then you'll probably feel this one a lot more. You have a much better understanding of Sagittarius than most people if you've got a lot of stuff in Sagittarius. Tab. Oh, what happens if I just share it like this? Let's see. Share. Nope, that's not sharing how I want it to. Man, ever since I got this new hard drive, the option for me to share is different than it was before. I'm still kind of figuring that out. There we go. And one of these days, I promise, I know I say this every time, but one of these days it's going to stop doing that whoop, 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 optical illusion, making you feel like you're going wherever. Because that can mess with some people's perception. Okay, so our full moon. We've got the sun in Gemini. Happy birthday, Geminis. I know it's been here a while, but happy birthday, Geminis. And then the moon over here in Sagittarius. What is Sagittarius? What is this space? Okay, so let's do it this way. This is how I like to think of it sometimes. You know, the planets are the people, they're the characters in our story. The signs are the spaces, or like the setting of our story, the scene that we're in. So if we're going to take the moon, she's intuitive, she's our subconscious, she's our character, and we're going to put her in this scene, in this setting. What does a Sagittarian setting look like? This is your quest. Sagittarius is about finding meaning and purpose and wisdom. It sort of has to do with like your moral compass, right? If you think about the hero's journey, why are you even going on this great quest to begin with? To save somebody, to usually it's to save somebody, to save the village, to save the girl, to save the guy, to save yourself, whatever it is. You're going on this quest to save something or to build a better whatever. But there is a purpose. It's not meaningless. A lot of times Sagittarian people get this rep of just bouncing from one thing to the other, right? Oh, they just want to go. They just want to travel. They just live in all these different places. And I think I read somewhere a description of a Sagittarian person, like they've got outfits laying all over their room because they tried this one and they, there's no time to just put it back. That's too Saturnian, right? That's too disciplined, and they're not about that. They're about just going and doing an experience. But it's not like meaningless experience. There's a reason for it. Every place that a Sagittarius goes is for a reason. There's something they gain from it. There's a wisdom to be gained. It adds meaning to their life. It adds depth to their life. So this is where the moon is right now. The moon is in this place. What does this mean for us? I'm going to read just some of the stuff that I wrote down. Some of the stuff I wrote down, like I don't talk about all the notes that I take on the full moon and the new moon, because some of it is pretty scorpionic, right? Some of it is pretty deep and dark, and I feel like it's not what we're doing right now with these moon streams is not the time or the place for those sorts of insights. So I'm going to weed out some of that stuff. So the moon is your subconscious. And when the moon is in Sagittarius, there might be like this yearning to feel useful, not to be busy just for the sake of being busy, but it might look like the things that I'm doing, why am I actually doing them? What do they add to my life? What do they add to my experience? What do they add to the experience or the life, as a collective? My place in society, my place in the world, or just my place here as me in the life that I live. The fuel that Sagittarius is driven with, like the fuel that keeps it going, is basically like culture shock, things that are different. Sagittarius is a mutable sign. That means the energy goes back and forth in Sagittarius. You give, you get. You take in, you receive, and then you also project, you put out. So Sagittarius needs this back and forth. Right now, your subconscious might be needing, yearning for this engagement with something different. And sometimes I think that's how we figure out if something really has meaning for us, if something is right for us, if something serves our purpose, like capital P purpose. I've said before, with my own personal experience, on the path to find out what was right for me, the first thing I learned was what wasn't right for me. And I learned this by engaging with all of these things, all of these opportunities. I learned what kind of jobs I didn't like because I took those jobs and I worked those jobs. And I said, no, this isn't for me. This doesn't serve my purpose. I feel like this is meaningless. It's a waste of my time to be here. It's not serving me at all. Sometimes it even was bad for me to be there. It made me angry or sad or sucked my soul out. You know, we've all had jobs like that. And sometimes we have to work jobs like that, but what are you investing in those places, right? Sometimes we have to be in places just because they're a place along our path, but it doesn't mean we have to invest ourselves into those things. We can just do the thing. We can just do the function of that space, of that job, and then move on. I don't know a way to articulate it. Well, there's a quote right here that I wrote that I keep on my desk. I don't know if you can see it. It says, I think my soul understands. When you are giving of yourself, when you're investing yourself into something, that feels different than when you're just doing it because it needs to be done. Your soul understands the difference, even if I can't articulate the difference, really. I guess the closest way to say it is one is intrinsically motivating for us and the other one is not. The other one just feels like busy work. The moon in Sagittarius is not looking for busy work. It's looking for purpose and meaning. The shadow side of moon in Sagittarius, or just Sagittarius in general, is sort of this dogmatism, self-righteousness, thinking that, what would it look like if the hero, when he completed the quest and saved, he or she, when the hero saved whoever they needed to save, whether it was themselves or the village or somebody else, and then they got all self-righteous about it. They got a big ego. Well, I know because I've done it, and this is the way it was done, and I did that, so I know because I have this experience, I have this wisdom. They lose perspective. They lose that mutability. They stop understanding that there's more to the world. One of the lessons with Gemini, which is where our sun is during this full moon, is whatever you can see, the world is bigger than that, right? Think about a little baby, because we're talking about the first air sign here, so it's the first sign that has to do with our cognitive development. What babies can see, well, all they can see is their crib or their playpen or their high chair. They don't understand that there's this great big world outside the house. They don't understand that there's something bigger than the neighborhood, something bigger than the state, something bigger than the country, something bigger than the world itself, than the planet Earth, than the solar system. You learn that as you get older by coming into contact with those things, by realizing that those things exist. So I think it really hinders Sagittarius when Sagittarius stops realizing that, or when they start ignoring that there's something more out there. There's something bigger than what I've done. There's something this is not the end all be all. And just because I've done this one thing and I'm an expert in this one thing does not mean I'm an expert for everybody or for everything. I think that's the opposite of what Sagittarius needs. What's right for you, what your moral compass says is right for you, is not always what's right for everybody else. And Sagittarian energy at its highest is understanding that and embracing that and engaging with those other things. You can engage with something even if you disagree with it, even if it's not what's right for you. But I think maybe our subconscious is looking for something that's our subconscious is trying to find something that's different from our own perspective. Why? Like, why would it even be doing that? Well, because the universe just gives us these lessons to learn. It's good for us to learn. But how does it apply to you in your life, right? That's the main question. Sorry, my throat is like really dry today. One of the sort of key words, I guess, that comes along with Sagittarius is redemption. On the hero's journey, you know, sometimes the hero feels like they failed in this way or they failed in that way, and if they could just do this one thing, they could redeem themselves, they could prove themselves useful, they could prove themselves worthy. Then at the end, they figure out that they were worthy all along. They had it in them all along. They just have to find that part of themselves. So maybe that's what it's about. Maybe engaging in these other perspectives, engaging with the things that are different from you. When I say culture shock, I mean like somebody who is in a different social class or they have different religious beliefs, or maybe they speak a different language or whatever. Their life, something about their life is so drastically different from yours. What can you learn from them? What can they learn from you, kind of thing? Or just a different situation. If this is the situation that you're always in, put yourself outside of that situation. Take yourself outside of your comfort zone. That's where the growth happens. Remember, Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is the part of us that says yes, that seeks to fulfill our potential, right? And there's really no limit on that. If there was a limit, then Jupiter wouldn't be Jupiter. Jupiter would be Saturn. And that's a whole different story. That's a different planet. That's a different part of us. So Jupiter is the part of us that sees no limit on what we can do, what we can achieve, who we can be. We have to let that part of ourselves play. And Sagittarius is the perfect place for that to happen, because it's all about going out into the world, facing the unknown, what dangers will come our way, how bravely can we face them, what courage can we have, what can we overcome. Sagittarius is about the need to experience life before we die. So the next sign after Sagittarius is Capricorn, and that's sort of a sign of completion, right? It's ruled by Saturn. It's structured. It's like, this is the thing. We've completed the work now. That's not Sagittarius, but Sagittarius is like, hey, we're getting close. We might want to get a sense of urgency. We might want to get this done. It's remaining like wide open to a range of experiences and possibilities, making mistakes. If somebody said, hey, whatever thing you want to do, you can have that thing, you can achieve that thing, but first you have to fail 5 times. You have to mess up 5 times before you get to that one thing, before you you have what you want. Like, how quickly would you move through messing up 5 times to get to that thing? So don't look at it like messing up or mistakes. Like, this is just part of the path, or you're figuring out what doesn't work. Here's another way of looking at it. If you were given like 10 options and somebody said one of these options is ideal for you, it's perfect for you, like, how quickly would you go through them with the understanding that eventually you're going to find the one that works perfectly? It's easy when we can't see that eventually it's going to work out. It's easy to say, oh, nothing, it doesn't matter. I'm just trying and nothing is working, so nothing is going to work. Well, that's because you can't see the thing that's going to work yet, but it's there. Sagittarius is like, hey, you got this. Let's go. We can find it. You have to stretch your boundaries. Knowing who you are is an important part of being able to engage with things that are different from you. Otherwise, you are going to start identifying with those things. If you don't have a strong sense of self, then all these things that look good, these things that are interesting to you, that you find meaning in, you'll start to try to become that thing instead of just like absorbing this as part of your experience. It's sort of like we're supposed to be inspired. We're not supposed to take on the persona of. There are lots of things that inspire me, but it doesn't mean that I am this thing now. I am still me, and I love this about this, and this can inspire me to do this a certain way. This can give me a different perspective and influence how I move through my life, or how I try new things, or the new things that I do try, the places that I go. But it doesn't mean that now I am this thing. I have become this thing. It's not like joining a secret society and now everything you do is within this framework. That's not what it is. We're talking about you, your fire, your soul, your passion, who you are, your animating principle, what moves you, not what moves something else. Flame is a really good example, actually. I've got a couple candles burning in the background, but you can't see them. But if you think about, like, this candle's lit and this candle's lit, right? We're going to use these candles. These highlighters are going to be candles, right? Okay. This candle's not lit, but these two are. And this candle's going on its way. And it's like, oh, this blue candle. I like that. That's cool. So the blue candle lights the pink candle. The pink candle is still the pink candle, even though it's carrying a little bit of this flame. The blue candle flame is now the pink candle's flame. It's not the blue candle's flame anymore. Even though they came into contact and the pink candle was inspired by the blue candle, it's different. Same way. Go now, blue candle's gone. Now we've got a yellow candle. Oh, hey, yellow candle. You see what I'm saying? It's still your flame. Don't give someone else your flame. Don't let them take over what moves you and who you are. Don't let them tell you which way to move, or how to do things, or how to feel about things, or who to be. That's not what fire is about. And in the same way, you can then inspire other people. But when you inspire someone else, because we're all inspired by heroes, right? Dominic Toretto inspires me a lot. If you're a Fast and Furious fan, I love his code, his honor to his family and stuff like that. Keeping his family together and love and taking care of his family. That inspires me. That doesn't mean that I'm going to go deck my car out and all those things. No, you You are inspired by what you are inspired by. You see somebody else's flame and it catches your eye and you're like, that is beautiful. How does it inspire you, influence you? Don't become that thing. Because what happens when Sagittarius becomes too focused on this thing that inspires it and tries to identify with it and be it, it stops moving. There's no more mutability. And it stops searching, it stops yearning, it stays stuck. And it's not, Sagittarius is not a fixed energy. It's not supposed to be stuck. It's supposed to always go back and forth. It's where we like align our actions and principles. This is how I feel about something. This is how I feel about it. This is where my moral compass is pointing. Well, what are you going to do about it? The hero's journey is a journey because the hero feels like this needs to be done, so they do it, even if they don't want to do it. It's not like they're saying, I'm the only one that can do it. No, that's the bad guy. That's the villain, right? The hero has the courage to put themselves in uncomfortable situations and do what needs to be done because it needs to be done, because of the growth that's going to happen, the change that's going to occur, the betterment that's going to come because of that. And there's something to be said for, just because this is shiny doesn't mean it's a good fire. Like it's glittering, that doesn't mean it's gold, right? So is this the right thing for me? You go and you check it out. The hero on their journey, they come across this one person who says they have all the answers and their magic might look really good, or they might have the right weapons or the right resources, or it sounds good. But is it true to you? Don't let someone's rhetoric misguide you. Know yourself enough to push your limitations, to push your boundaries, to engage in those things so you can grow without losing yourself. Man, I feel like I talked about Sagittarius a whole lot. What does that say about me, Carl Jung? The biggest aspects that I see, the ones that really catch my eye when we're talking about this full moon, it's squaring the nodes. The north node over here in Pisces and the south node down here in Virgo. Squares are challenging. Squares are not bad things, right? Squares are not like, oh, it's so bad. We don't talk about things like that because that's limiting. And we're talking about, when I talk about astrology, I'm talking about how we can grow from this, how we can get through this, how we can complete the process, how we can better ourselves and whatever else it is you want to better. And I've got a lot of Scorpio. I don't believe that anything can tell me no if I don't want it to. So square, what? Okay, move out of the way, square. Square just means like this. There's a 90-degree angle. It's like arm wrestling. There's a challenge here. It's a challenging aspect. So with the North Node in Pisces, this is this place of total awareness. It's where Gemini is like, you can perceive everything around you, like from your perspective, perceive everything, and there's no judgment, and you're just like data in, data out, soaking it all up, just like a baby learning a new language. Pisces is like the all awareness. It's understanding that there's like everybody in the world and they all speak different languages, and I don't understand every language that they speak, and that's okay. I don't have to. They're there, I'm here, we are here, we exist together. That's Pisces. So North Node in Pisces is sort of like, the North Node is what you want to eat. It's the head of the dragon. What do we need to eat from Pisces? We need to eat the good things, the nutritious things that are going to fuel our growth, right? So we need to eat a little bit of that acceptance that we're all here together. We don't have to be the same. We're all humans, right? We all get it. The tail of the dragon is, what do you do with your tail? It sits on the toilet. Right now, the tail of the dragon is sitting on the toilet of Virgo. South Node in Virgo. What are some things in Virgo that we need to rid our bodies of or rid ourselves of? Well, that would be like judgment, too focused on the details, really just the whole judgment thing, like missing the big picture because you're so hyper focused on this little thing. Some things don't matter. Like, it doesn't matter, going back to the North Node in Pisces, it doesn't matter that we don't have the same word for the same thing. That's a semantics. The semantics aren't important. You understand, like, this is this. Like, this is water. It doesn't matter what I call it. We're talking about the same thing, So when it comes to your subconscious, right? Because our subconscious is really what fuels, it's our intuition. It's what helps our growth. If it was up to our ego, our sun, we would just be frolicking and playing all day. There would never be any self-reflection. There would never be any introspection. It would just be all surface level outside of us, right? But the moon is inside of us. So what's the challenge for the moon to be on this quest to engage with things and grow and see what's different from us and how we can learn from it? When you add in that square with the nodes, how can that be challenging? Well, it might be difficult to understand that. We'll just use religion as an example, because Sagittarius is about religion, because that's one of the things that we quest for, right? We're questing for meaning, for answers, for truth, for higher purpose. And a lot of people turn to religion for that, or spirituality in general. Not everybody has the same spiritual beliefs, right? Pisces is this place where, it doesn't matter what word you say for God, it's still God. Virgo might get caught up on that. Well, this word means this and this word means this, and that's not the same thing. Pisces says it's all the same. It doesn't matter. And even if it's not the same meaning for somebody, it's okay, because, hey, we're all in it together, right? We're going to accept it and be okay with it, because who cares? It's not a big deal. Like, we all live on the planet together. Sagittarius wants to find the meaning in that. Sagittarius wants to engage with the things that are different. So the challenge is to not fall into those Virgo lower vibrational patterns, I guess you could say, like the stuff that Virgo needs to poop out. We need to stay away from that. But also, like, maybe not get too woo-woo accepting of things that we forget who we are and what we believe and what has meaning for us. If the word God has meaning for you, it's totally fine that you understand that somebody else says the universe or source or this or that. God still has meaning for you, and that's okay. That's where the challenge lies. And that's sort of a challenge that, like, comes up all the time anyways in life. It's just where the planets and the aspects are right now for this full moon is sort of like highlighting this for us. Just drawing our attention to it to make sure we're covering everything we need to be covering in life, I guess you could say. That's kind of how I think about astrology. It's like journaling prompts, cosmic journaling prompts. Think about this today, think about that tomorrow, that kind of thing. things you should be doing throughout your life. But let's focus on this. Let's like intentionally think about this today. About that God thing, there's a book. I might have told you guys this before. I don't know, but R.S. Belcher is one of my favorite authors. Let me see if I can pull this up on my Kindle. He writes a series called it's the Golgotha series, and the first book in that series is the Six Gun Tarot. The second book is the Shotgun Arcana, and I'll show you a picture of the cover real quick. Stephen King used to be my favorite author. So I've read Stephen King since I was a kid. I still love Stephen King. Love him. He's an excellent writer. But R.S. Belcher is a little more occult. He's like on the level. He knows what he's talking about. So this is that book, The Shotgun Arcana. In this book, there's an artist. So there's this guy, and he's talking to a girl who's actually his daughter, and she's an artist. And she's trying to understand, like, he's talking to her about all the different gods and how they can all exist at the same time if everybody believes their way is the right way, their truth is the one truth. How can they exist at the same time? One of them has to be the real truth, right? Well, not necessarily. Because the way he explains it to her, being an artist, he says, how would you describe the color blue to someone who was born blind? She's like, well, I would say, I would associate it with like the way the wind feels, or cool water, or ice. How would you do that? How would you describe the color blue to somebody who's never experienced blue before, or who, was trying to understand blue and was unable to see it? Or even if you just get 20 people together and you say, what color is blue? Some people might talk about navy blue. Some people might talk about light blue. Some people might talk about bluish green, whatever. We all have different perceptions of what blue is. We all have different associations related to the color blue. Like, she thought it felt like the wind or the cool water. I think blue for me is like the midnight sky. It's that way with God. Just substitute blue for God. But it's all the same thing, right? It's all the color blue. There's no right blue or wrong blue. There's just blue. What blue means to you is what blue means to you. Understand that doesn't make somebody else's blue wrong. It's still blue. That's what this whole thing sort of feels like. Go see what other people think about the color blue. Substitute whatever you want for blue here. Doesn't have to be God. It could be anything. I just said that, like I said, because of religion and Sagittarius and that whole thing. But what has meaning for you? Go see what meaning it has for somebody else. It doesn't mean you lose your meaning. It just means that there's a growth that happens there, because now you have this understanding with somebody else and your world has just gotten bigger. You've gained wisdom and you can relate to people better, because even if you don't internalize their meaning and their understanding, you still appreciate it and you understand their understanding without taking it as your own. There's a respect there. There's a mutual respect. You can engage with one another without losing yourselves. And that's like, who wants to be around people that think exactly the same as you and feel exactly the same as you? It just takes all the fun out of it. It becomes boring. There's nothing left to learn. Now you're just busy for the sake of being busy. What is the point? What's the purpose? Sagittarius, it's not a Sagittarian space anymore. Now it's just you're just a cog in a wheel. What happens when Jupiter's capped out? It's not Jupiter anymore. Speaking of Jupiter, give me 1 second, guys. Oh, sorry. Okay, I was just listening. Making sure my kids aren't killing each other. So which way are you directing your Jupiter? Are you directing it toward yourself? I am right. I know what's best. I've been there, done that. My way is the best way. And you're going to go to hell if you don't like it. Or is it focused out? In would be the fixed energy. Out would be the cardinal energy. Oh yeah, this thing is, they have it all together. That's what I need to do. This get rich quick thing, that's it. That's where it's at. I need to do this exactly the way they say it. That's cardinal. Sagittarius is not cardinal. Sagittarius is mutable. This is what I know based on my own experience. But that sounds good too. Can I use that? No? Okay, that's cool. It was a good thing to learn. I'm glad I had the experience. What's next? That's kind of the big takeaway from this moon, I think. There's also something else that's going on down here with I wrote this down. Should I say this? I think with the sun down here in Gemini, the sun being your ego, like your unhealthy ego, not your personality ego, not like your waking consciousness that you the person you are in the world, but the hidden ego. I think that it could think that it's unbiased. Oh, of course. See, I'm in Gemini. All the data. I'm sitting in the middle of Google right now. I can find out whatever I want. No judgment. Don't let your ego think that it's unbiased, because every part of us is always biased to one extent or the other, just because we can only see the world. Our perspective is limited to our own experience. So nothing is ever completely unbiased or objective. We are human. That's just the way it is. When you start saying, look how unjudgmental I am, those words can be venomous. They can be poison to somebody else. They can be poison to you. Never limit yourself. The other sort of big thing that's going on here, and it's not like directly related by aspect to the full moon, is well, there's a couple things. Pluto has got like this square going on with Venus. Pluto in Aquarius is again about what wounds has society caused and how can we heal from those? What are the wounds? What is the medicine? Venus loves to be in Taurus. This is where she lives. All of the paintings you see showing Aphrodite on the couch, being fed grapes, just completely relaxed in this whole rest and digest space. That's Venus in Taurus. This is where she lives. Venus is our self-regulator. It's the part of us that It's how we calm ourselves down. It's how we make ourselves comfortable. It's how we know what we like that makes us comfortable. How we know what is comfortable for us and what is not comfortable. And Taurus is that place where we get that complete comfort and security. And this is, again, is a square. So I think the square thing here comes in with maybe Venus doesn't want to look at those things. Like maybe Venus just wants to chill for a minute and eat her grapes. And she's like, yeah, I know. I see you there in my peripheral vision. I know you're there. I just don't want to deal with you right now. And Pluto, because, Hades can be a little overpowering sometimes. He's like, hey, I see you over there. I see you just chilling and trying to be all hedonistic and not paying attention to what's going on around you in your happy little bubble. But there's all this other stuff too. Okay. You got to find the balance there. You have to do both things. You have to make those energies work. You have to say, like, this is what really makes me comfortable and I need this space right now. I will deal with that. We can work together. Maybe the thing that makes me comfortable can make somebody else comfortable too. And I can take that into the Aquarian society space. I can network that a little bit. I just had this random thought, like maybe you really like candles and you make the most comforting candles and that's your happy Taurus Venus place. And, you can start networking with people and selling those candles and take them out into the world. That would be a very Aquarian thing. And maybe those candles can be helpful and healing for someone else. That's a Venus and Taurus square, Pluto and Aquarius thing, I think. So just be aware of it, because sometimes squares can show up like we feel like there's something over our shoulder. Like oppositions, I feel like we can feel like there's somebody at our back or there's somebody in front of us. Like it's more of a direct opposition. When something is square, I feel like the energy feels like it's coming from one shoulder or the other. Like it's kind of drawing your attention instead of pulling you directly. It's kind of just like that sort of thing. I know, I'm weird. The other thing that I want to talk about real quick, Saturn has moved into, or is Saturn in Aries right now? I don't know. But on the full moon, Saturn will be in Aries, and it's going to be conjunct Neptune. And I talked before about how I think this is going to help us sort of like, I think Saturn is going to help us define this spiritual greatness, this spiritual courage in all of us. Not, when I say spiritual, I don't necessarily mean like woo-woo spiritual. I mean that, like that imaginative part of you that says, what if? What if things could be like this? Imagine this world, right? It's the part of you that, it's your imagination. And when you put it with Saturn, it sort of structures that. For me, Saturn and Neptune conjunct is like writing a book. If you put them together in Aries, it's having the courage to write the book no matter what. Having the courage to not just write the book, but make the movie, or to take this thing, this idea that you have, and put some structure to it so it can exist in the real world. You're going to matterify it. You're going to turn it into real matter, into a tangible thing with Saturn. And Aries gives you the courage to do that. Aries very much likes to win. So that's a good thing. It's the Aries space is like where you're going to get that win. Don't let, because it's also like, you can get the win. It wants you to get the win, but if you watch National Geographic, you don't always get the win in nature out in the wild. Aries is kind of out in the wild. So do what you got to do. Like, that's what I mean by courage. What do you have to face? What do you have to overcome to get that win? And then it's squaring all these squares, right? We've got Jupiter moving into Cancer, which I've heard some other astrologers saying that this is like a big deal for some people and not a big deal for other people. Some people really like this and some people really don't. I don't know. I didn't know it was a thing like that. But Jupiter remembers the part of ourselves that says yes, that says like, oh yeah, just keep going. No limit. Potential. There's no cap on Jupiter. But Cancer is like when you're a little kid, how you have that hiding space, that little, like, it could be your fort, it could be behind the couch, it could be your closet, it could be wherever you go to feel safe from the world, like your little crabby shell. But a shell is restricted, right? Well, here's the thing about crabs. They shed their shell. They have to become vulnerable and get rid of their shell. So think about how Mr. Krabs feels when his shell gets cracked. And he's like, oh no, I gotta hide. I can't let anybody see me. I'm so exposed. Well, in real life, crabs do that. And then they get a bigger shell so they have more room to grow. This is how I like to think about Jupiter and Cancer, is breaking through the limits of that old shell, giving yourself room to grow into your new shell. So the new shell is bigger. So if you're constantly shedding the shell and you're constantly growing and you're constantly pushing back or pushing through what's keeping you safe, then your safe space just gets bigger and bigger until, it's a weird thought. Okay. Imagine if you just kept growing until your shell was as big as the earth. So then the whole world would be your safe space. It's making yourself feel safer and safer in a bigger and bigger space and not hiding yourself. That's how I like to think about Jupiter and Cancer. And it's squaring, Jupiter and Cancer is squaring this Saturn, Neptune in Aries. So it's like, yeah, we got to have the courage to manifest our story, to this great thing that we can imagine. We have to have courage to give it definition and structure and shape and bring it into the world. And sometimes that's scary and we might want to hide a little bit. But if we have that courage and if we're constantly like pushing through the limitations of our shell, pushing through, constantly growing our shell, instead of just like hiding in this one little space, we're making it's like every little bit of courage we have leads to a win for us. So now we're not afraid of this space anymore. We feel safe in this space because we know we've got this. We know we can handle this space. Because fear is really just things that we don't know. Once we know something, then we're not afraid of it anymore. We might have a healthy respect for it, but we're not afraid of it because now it's not like, its limits, sort of. You've given it a shape. It's not just this unknown thing that's out there that you have no idea what to do with. You've given yourself something to work with. Mercury being conjunct Jupiter. Mercury is the magician. Mercury is the quicksilver. It's the facilitator. It's the thing that motivates us and helps us move. So I think with Mercury, with Jupiter, Mercury's like, and he's so quick, like he's gone past all these planets so quickly. Just sprinkle a little magic on them and say, hey, come on, you got this. Like, here's a little, wave my wand over you, sprinkle some little magic dust over you. Here's a potion, do my wand thing. So when Mercury's going past Jupiter, he's like, you got this. Come on, let's go. You can do it. That's what it feels like for me. I think, and then like all the elements are involved here, like big time elements, like when it comes to the last 4 signs of the zodiac, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces, this is like the end of the story, like completion, like the final level boss kind of thing. All the planets involved here are like the final level bosses, like the big boss of each element. If each element is a corporation or whatever, however you want to split that up, whatever analogy you want to do for yourself there, go ahead. Jupiter is the big boss of fire and water. So it's the big boss of Sagittarius, right? It rules Sagittarius and it rules Pisces, traditionally speaking. So Jupiter is the big boss of water and fire. Saturn is the big boss of earth and air because it rules Capricorn and Aquarius. Neptune is also, in more modern astrology, the big boss of Pisces, right? Or the big boss of water because it rules Pisces. And then Mercury, the magician, is saying, hey, so it's almost like with this square, it really is like saying you are boss enough to, hang on, it's coming to me. It's like you can do this, but it's not just you can do this. It's more powerful than that. It's not just like writing a story for the fun of it or making a movie for the fun of it. It's like, this is your blockbuster. This is your epic. And you can do this. Because you aren't just using like the entry level positions. You're using like the CEOs. They're helping you with this. Like the head of the company is helping you with this. So you have all the resources you need. You have all the support you need, all the encouragement you need. It's all there within you, and it's getting ready to take shape. And it might be challenging, but it feels good. Like, how much meaning would it have if it wasn't challenging? If it was so easy for you to do, how much would it mean to you? These highlighters that I used earlier, right? These are just cheap, big highlighters, very inexpensive, right? So that makes them a little more disposable. They don't have as much meaning as, say, like, I don't know, if I had to save up and get this one pack of highlighters that was like the creme de la creme of highlighters, I would sort of treat them differently. I would care for them. I would make sure that I want to say like have more respect for them, but they would. I had to go through more to get those highlighters, so I wouldn't be as nonchalant about throwing them around like this. Like, oh, if I break one of these highlighters, it's okay. If you're around kids or animals, like they chew up, or if your kids tear up, whatever, we'll just stick with the animals for now. I don't want anybody thinking that I've got my kids on a leash. But say your dog chews up your Walmart flip-flops. Okay, you can get more Walmart flip-flops easy. It wasn't very challenging for you to get those Walmart flip-flops. So you're not that upset about it. If your dog chews up your Jimmy Choo flip-flops, see what I did there? Chew and chew. That's a different story. I mean, maybe you're balling like that and you can afford Jimmy Choo flip-flops like I can afford Walmart flip-flops. That's great. That is awesome for you. But understand the metaphor. I don't think there's too many people watching this that can afford Jimmy Choo flip-flops like Walmart flip-flops. So the challenge, what you have to go through to get there is what gives it the meaning. So whatever this story is, whatever, and it doesn't have to be a story, whatever this thing that you imagine is that you are trying to make tangible, that you are trying to bring into your real world. That could be, it could be something to do with your house. It could be something to do with a job. Whatever life it is that you want to live, that you want to have for yourself, this life that you have imagined, this feeling within you that you have imagined living in and just being part of your everyday life. You got to go through challenges to get there, or it's not going to mean as much to you. But it's very possible. It can happen. And don't let anybody take that away from you. Don't let your subconscious get all self-righteous with the negative experiences you've had or the times that you failed or anything like that and start saying, oh, this is not going to happen. How do you know? I think Jupiter plays a bigger part in this than maybe we're seeing right now. There's also this really cool fire trine going on. I didn't talk about this, but I feel like what needs to be said comes out. I hope that's always the case when I'm ranting or just rambling. We've got the moon in Sagittarius, and then we've got Chiron in Aries, and we've got Mars in Leo. Hang on. It's like your intuition knows what's right for you and is excited about this, whatever it is. When I was a little kid, my grandparents used to take me to Nashville every summer. And that is something that feeling of getting ready to go on vacation with them. So I knew I was safe with them. I knew I was going to have fun. I knew I was going to learn something because we didn't just go do stupid, boring stuff. Like they always engaged my curiosity, my intellect, and I always learned something. Even when we visited the same places every summer, I still learned something new every time. The restaurants we went to, the smells of like the motel room and Shoney's breakfast, the way the car felt, like the way I felt when my grandpa would say, okay, we're about to stop and get gas. We've gone this many miles. How many miles per gallon are we getting? Like being able to, like the excitement of being able to engage my intellect in that way. Because, you know, the moon is about memories too. So maybe thinking about a time where you've had that sense of adventure, that you can engage your senses in, maybe even just thinking about that and like embodying that and remembering that will affect your state of mind. So you sort of start like living that now So you're existing in that space right now in this time. Chiron is the wounded healer. You know, we've talked about Chiron before. Chiron and Aries is saying, yeah, you did this. You not only did you make it through this, but I feel like Chiron and Aries, if I was gonna introduce you to my friend Chiron and Aries, it would be like a battlefield doctor. Somebody who is just like jumping, bombs going off, and they are saving lives right there. Because somebody saved them, or because they saved themselves, whatever. They were wounded, now they're healed, and they're healing other people in this war zone, right? And then Mars in Leo. Mars is our survival instinct. It's like the thing that drives us forward, that like Venus will tell you, oh, you're hungry, you need food, you're uncomfortable because you need food. And Mars is like, let's go get the food. Let's face the dangers, let's go get the food. Okay? Leo is like the stage. It's where you express yourself. So when Mars is in Leo, it's about doing something that is a genuine expression of who you are. And I think that's key here. I think if we look at this fire trine and we trust our intuition, we listen to our intuition, and we remember when the adventure, the quest felt right, or we just trust our intuition that this adventure, this quest is right. And we trust that no matter what's going on around us, we can make it through this. We've got this. If we need a Band-Aid, if we need a whatever, if we need a little bit of numbing agent, Chiron's got it. And it's not just doing like one and then the other. There's no real chronological order. They're all working together. So the moon is like, this is it. This is the adventure. This is the thing. And Chiron is like, we've got this. I've got everything packed. You know, we've got the Band-Aids. We've got the ibuprofen. We've got whatever it is. We've got it. We're ready. And Mars is like, just what is it about you that you want to light your flame, light your candle, show it to the world? I think those are all sort of working together for that. Let me know what you guys think. Maybe this one was a little too rambly. I don't know. If there's anything I can clarify, please let me know and I will clarify it. If you see something differently, I would love to hear it. If you disagree with something I said, I would love to hear that as well. I want your perspective. I want to know what you think. I always want to know what you guys think. I think I'm especially interested in when it comes to things that I know about, like how I interpret astrology or what I know about astrology. If there's somebody who has an interpretation that's just so radically different from mine, it's so interesting to me. Like, I want to know more about it. I want to learn more about it. I want to understand, how did you get there? Like, it's intriguing. And then even if I still disagree with it, like I got something from it, you know, and who knows, like that little nugget, it might be something that I can really use later. It might help me understand something later on down the road, even if it doesn't help me understand better what I'm looking at now. Even if I think it's not for me right now, I can still like hang on to it and have it for later down the road. But yeah, that's it. That's all I've got. So thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching this. Comment on it, share it, like it. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you don't like. All that good stuff. And I will see you guys on the next one.